427 Weirs.
Oh, okay.
You want to look at their plans?
No, it's all right.
Because to me, it's not an issue.
Yeah, it looks in order.
Well, they're only shy by a little bit of meeting the requirement with acreage,
The
so.
size of a small bathroom.
The weirs,
I'm gonna write on these just so I know.
like mine? About the size of my bathroom? It's
Well, maybe a little
Try-
bigger than
a
that.
little
So there's
big.
only
Doesn't
one.
take much to be bigger.
No.
Mr. Chair, we're ready whenever you are.
Very
to go.
good. We got a couple more folks coming in, and we still have a minute to go.
You don't have a name
It's
tag
like it's running the way it should, so.
unless it's down.
Is it down? No, it's, Eric, it's right here.
Oh.
You're in the wrong chair. If you come over one,
Oh, there we go.
Then,
There you
then
go.
you'll know who you are.
I didn't realize that there was
Yeah, they do little name plates.
name tags for this.
There you go. Now
Everybody
you're,
happy now?
now you're official.
Great.
You don't have your water, though.
No, I don't.
My
I'm gonna wanna,
sinuses are
I'm gonna
nuts.
wanna know what you enjoy more, this or city council.
Who?
I don't think you want to know.
I told him this will be easier.
That's Gerard.
Well, not as frequent.
I wouldn't say it's quicker.
Easier, not
Oh, really?
quicker.
She printed off two.
A lot more fun.
It is interesting. This is
So
where the
this
action
is
is.
I'll
I
miss,
think it's where the action
this
is.
is
I'll
from
miss
the-
Michael Foot, but
on
I will miss Michael. too.
Well, this and school board, but I'm not touching school board. if it's
No.
different.
are you on the school board? No.
No,
That would
was-
be a punishment.
I was telling him though that at the school board, they limit
Oh, 'cause
people
it's from the-
speaking for
gotcha.
3 minutes. At city
Okay, it's from
council,
the
they
private.
did not. Pat Wood spoke for 15 minutes the other night.
Okay, we need a big clock that starts, like someone hits a button and then someone starts
Exactly.
talking.
Exactly.
So wrapping these things up earlier.
Oh, this is already on May. It's not May yet.
All right, folks. It is 6:30. We'll call the April meeting, the City of Laconia Zoning Board of Adjustment to order. Staff in attendance.
Staff in attendance tonight will be Tyler Carmichael and myself, Scott Pelchat. Board members tonight will be Marcia Hayward, Michael Dellavecchia, Jane LaRoche, and Counselor Eric Hoffman.
Okay, before any presentations, I have to tell you, since there's 4 members, if it's a tie vote, 2 and 2, the motion will fail. And you have the option of coming back next month if you'd like, when we have a full board. So I just have to give fair warning, all righty?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'm going to take you up on that offer and shorten your evening since I am on the last item on the agenda. Scott Tim Britton.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Here for Claudia Salvaci.
For 35.
Yeah,
Yeah.
35 Oak Street. So, since you only have 4, I guess we'll see you in May.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good, sir.
Yep.
We'll see you next month.
Take care.
What's the date of that meeting so we can attend?
It's the first,
Um,
I'm sorry, 3rd Monday of May will be.
19th. 19th.
May
19th.
The 19th. Yeah. Yep.
Are they leaving too? Who are they?
I don't
They
know.
must have been talking for Oak Street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
must be. Okay.
Yep.
We had letters from everybody, Scott was telling me.
Oh, so you think it's the same one?
Yep, May 19th.
All right, moving right along. We have 18 Gerard.
Gotta have the minutes.
Oh, thank you
That's
for
right.
reminding me.
It's okay.
We all had a chance to review the minutes of last month's meeting. I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the, not April, but the
I will.
March minutes.
I will second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Marcia, for reminding me of that. We have 18 Gerard Street. They have a few requests here. Are you in attendance? Come on up. Tell us how we can help you.
Good evening. My name is Rob Turpin, and this is Shelley Daniels Marcoux, the applicant and the property owner. Maybe what I'll have I'll have Shelley speak for a couple of minutes on the project and what she would like to try to accomplish with it, and then I can get into some of the drawings and the details with the proposed solution to try to accomplish what she'd like to do.
Very good, Rob. Okay, Shelley?
Thank you. I didn't know how well those are working these days.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Terrific, thank you.
That does the job.
Actually, if you could slide it this way. Bring it towards you just a little bit, and I'll adjust it the rest here. That'll be good.
That good?
Looks like it's gonna be.
Oops.
There you go.
Sorry, Shelley.
Oh, it's okay.
You could stand closer to him.
You want to get in there.
There you go, now I can see.
Is that good?
I think that'll be fine. Yeah, that'll serve the intent.
Okay.
Very good. I'm Shelley, as Rob said, and I'm a homeowner at 18 Gerard Street. I've lived there for, I don't know, I think 34 years, and I always thought the house was too small, and I'm interested in putting on a garage, and that was the start of this venture. So I got thinking about it and decided that I would do some work with Rob to see what we could come up with, and I decided to increase the living space of my home a little bit with an office and a laundry room and then a garage, then putting rental space on the second floor of the garage and to rent out another apartment. I already have an apartment on my second floor, and that's worked out wonderful. And I'm planning for retirement in a few years, so I want to get this done before that, and I thought now's the perfect time. It's pretty much the gist of it. Brings us here tonight.
Very good, Shelley. Rob, you're gonna tell us what the plan is?
So I have a series of drawings that we submitted with the application, so I'll kind of run through some of those quickly. So the first drawing you're seeing is a survey that was done a couple of years ago of the subject property. The home is here. We have the setbacks identified. The way it lays out, it's Gerard Street is the widest part of it, and then it tapers down as it heads back toward the property. The house, like I said, is there, and then there's a paved surface parking area adjacent to the house. Second drawing is just a general, just kind of quick overview of this part of Gerard Street, this side of Gerard Street. So Winter Street is down here. The subject property is highlighted here, and as you can see, with the rest of the properties in the neighborhood, Shelley's is by far the smallest, by half of the next smallest. And it's kind of interesting, you can kind of see in this, the way this is laying out, this appears to have been her property appears to have been created, several decades ago, some deal, with the property owner. Because it's just kind of the shape of those, it looks like that kind of, was working out that way. So the plan is, so back to so these are similar scale. The plan is to provide a single stall garage utilizing much of the existing paved parking surface now. And then, like Shelley said, have a little addition off the back that would allow her then to get past the interior stair that's in the house and be able to get in and access the first floor of her house that way. So that's why we've got it laid out with the garage up front and then the addition in the back that helps her get in to the house. The garage is approximately 14 feet wide or so. And then as we've hatched here, there would be some percentage of this new footprint that would be encroaching into the side setback. Currently, the parking is the surface parking and its size where you could put 3 or 4 cars like we're showing there. what she would like to do as part of one of the variance requests is to stay with 4 parking spaces, but have 1 car be able to go in the garage and 3 kind of go side by side, like that. And these are just kind of some, the addition, like she mentioned before, the addition would have the garage on the lower level, then a small apartment above. The form and the volume of the addition will be fairly simple and in keeping with the rest of the volumes of the structures on Girard Street. Then here's just a series of photos across with the footprint, garage footprint proposal shown in the heavy dashed line here. And as you can kind of see in a couple of these photos, just the general nature of the way folks park on Girard Street. What she's proposing to do is not really that uncommon with how people kind of, because a lot of these properties are very close to Girard Street, and so there's not a lot of depth for people who may or may not have adequate garage space or depth of parking. They generally park kind of like that, up and down the garage, so not unlike, or Girard, not unlike what she's proposing now. So that's kind of in a 5-minute kind of summary of what we'd like to try to accomplish with this addition.
Can we talk about the parking for a minute? I know you want to keep 4 rather than the 5 that are required. That's one of the questions, but as I'm looking at this picture, this is the front of the house that faces Girard Street. This is gonna be the addition with the 1-stall garage, right, facing Girard Street. And she wants to be able to drive into that garage, correct? So I know there is space over here for cars, so you're planning on, how are you gonna get 4, is what I'm trying to visualize.
Maybe Shelley can talk about how she's anticipating that all to work.
There are 3 up front and then the car inside, so it possibly could be piggybacked. I've talked with my tenant, who I've had for close to 10 years, about it already, and we could piggyback, like I've often done there, yep, and then.
This is what you're thinking. So this is the car in the garage, and then you've got
Yes,
3
exactly,
like that,
yes.
is what you're
Yes,
thinking?
yep, yep.
Yeah. And then you're going to have to piggyback.
We, not necessarily have to. The 2 other vehicles would go farther over to the right, close
I
to
know.
the boundary, the property line, into the setback, which already is doing.
Going back to this picture again, in order to get your car out of the garage.
Yeah.
Do you not have to move 2 cars?
No, no. It's a 1-car garage,
Right.
and the 2 cars would be, it'd be close, but I would have room to get out of the garage if those, well, if it were 3, that is true, that would be tougher to get in and out. I would piggyback with my tenant if necessary. Piggyback meaning
Yeah,
he- oh, okay.
yeah. I'm just looking at the parking as being a little
And that's only
problematic.
during, what is it, October to April, because we usually use the side street parking in the front of the house too as well. Obviously, not during the winter ban, but that'd be like 6 months, I think. And also day parking on the street in the winter too, so, I mean, we factored in all the variables.
And the reason you want to reduce the size of the parking spot is because you don't have enough room, right? Even for 4, you want to reduce it from 9 to 8 is one of your requests too. That's one of the variances
Right,
that you're
'cause,
seeking.
well, and that's just by the nature of, even with her current area of the surface paved area, it would be tight to do that. But the, part of this also is one of the variance requests is to be able to park in the front setback. And so because we don't have enough depth to be able to get fully behind the setback, So we need to do that as well as reduce width by a foot for each one. So we can try to maintain, her 4. Because we kind of made a decision to request 4 with a variance instead of 3. That was, that was a decision we made to do.
The new addition with the garage, how far is that from, what's the setback on that building, on that addition? Do you know? Because you're saying you need to have parking within the front setback, so I'm curious what the building
So
is.
there's a 15-foot front setback.
Right,
So even though, her existing house
right,
encroaches on that, with the new addition, we're at least trying to maintain that 15-foot
15,
setback.
yeah.
So we can get as much depth for parking, in front of it like that, so. So that's being held. On the side setback, we're a couple of 3 feet over the setback line nearest the street, and then we're about 8 feet over the setback line
on the back
on
corner.
the back
Yeah.
of it, right?
And I'd also like to add that it would be a 3-vehicle home. It's a small 1-bedroom over the garage that we've designed. So it'd be ideally 1 person, 1 vehicle, and my vehicle in the garage, and then my tenant's vehicle. It's never really gonna be 3 that live there in the front. It will never be 4. It's just, that's what we have to do for this. So,
Right, and plus, properties get sold, and then, there's the requirement for parking, even though you, at this time, may only be having 3 cars. Down the road may be a different story. That's why it has to be taken into consideration.
absolutely, but I just wanted to tell you for
Yeah.
my purpose,
Mhm.
and I'm not planning on selling. It's going to my son, so, but yes, I understand.
Alrighty. We got a couple of letters from your neighbors. I would like Tyler to read them right now, please.
Sure. So, this first one I have here is from Bill Greeley at 10 Gerard Street. He had submitted a letter back for the prior meeting and then just followed up again this month saying he still wanted to send this letter along. But basically it says, I'm unable to attend tonight's variance hearing due to illness. I want to express my opinion that I am not in favor of the variance for several reasons that will be explained by Gail Druin and her brother's experience in real estate. I hope my input will be noted. Please contact me with any questions at the above email address if needed. And like I said, he just advised Scott here that he has the same position on this variance tonight for tonight's meeting. And so that's the only one I have in here. If you have
Is it
more
here?
there, I can read those
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So that's from Gail, so if she's gonna speak, do we do both?
Oh,
or-
she's here?
I believe so.
Oh, you don't have to read it then.
Okay.
We'll let,
Perfect, if
I'd
she's
like to
here.
hear it.
she'll come up physically and talk.
Okay,
I think.
If she's here.
she's right here.
Oh, she, okay,
All right,
perfect. So we can wait and,
Thank you.
Yep.
okay.
Okay, I'll ask you to have a seat now, and
Okay.
I'll open the public hearing for the neighbors to make a comment.
Well, thank you.
there's 2 copies here, I'll give that one back to you, I got this one here.
Gail? Hello, ma'am.
Good
Just state your
evening.
name for the record, please.
My name is Gail Druin. I live on 24 Gerard Street. I'm the abutter to the applicant. I would like to highlight my concerns. A more detailed explanation was submitted. I hope you all had time to review it. The concerns are the parking space dimensions. Over 30% of the addition will be built on the setback. Also, the closeness and the height of the addition to the abutter. And is there adequate space for snow storage on applicant's property? And all, again, this is all in the letter I sent. I also want to express that I do not want anyone, tenants, cars, construction, workers, equipment, or material on my property.
Very good, Gail. Thank you for coming in. Is anybody else who'd like to speak? Sir?
Should I? Yeah. I'm not a brother, I'm a brother though. Is that okay?
Certainly.
Thank you.
You brought up, Francis Druin, by the way. You brought up the parking issue. I have a couple questions and concerns about that. When I was looking through the ordinances, I noticed 235-50, which is a setback of 19 feet for a parking garage, a new addition. This one's only 15 feet. I was wondering, should that have received a variance as well, or applied for a variance?
So I don't believe she is proposing to put in a new driveway. She's using the existing driveway that's already there.
Correct.
So we wouldn't make her,
But the ordinance is in regards to, a residence driveway shall have a minimum of 25 feet in length. Parking requirements where the garages are constructed, driveway length must be a minimum of 19 feet.
sure. Let me
So that's 235-50-1.
just pull that up here.
It does have the garage in it. Can I borrow your check?
I'm pulling it up here just to see exactly. Residential driveway should be a minimum of 25 feet in the length when used to meet the minimum parking. Where garages are constructed, driveway length must be a minimum of 19 feet. Straight and meet the minimum therefore. Aisle widths. How far away currently?
15.
It's 15. Is that with the garage?
That is the edge of the garage.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
The 19 feet is measured from what to what? Does the city state that in their regs?
I would imagine the curb to the face of the building.
When being used.
From the street curb to the face. Yeah, so she's got like 25 feet or so.
But that would be covering the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so the question is, when does the definition of a driveway begin?
I will say, our regulation says where garages are constructed, driveway length must be a minimum of 19 feet, and it does not define from where.
Where to where?
But if you had, the average car is like 16 feet, SUV, and the truck is 19 feet. So they're gonna be sticking out into the sidewalk. So I would imagine when they originally, the intent of the ordinance was not to block the sidewalk, but to get the vehicles in further,
So
even though
you,
it's not
they,
written.
yeah, they couldn't obstruct the right-of-way.
Yeah.
That's not what they could do. So if there's parking on the sidewalk, that wouldn't be allowed, but that would be for DPW or the police to handle at that point, not for zoning. But for the construction of this, that would be within your purview. I will say we do not stipulate from where we measure that.
But Mr. Druin brings up a good point.
He does. He
Yes,
does.
because.
I think that's something to consider.
Once you're blocking the sidewalk, and there's only one sidewalk on Gerard Street, you'd have to go around the vehicle, which is a pedestrian hazard. While we're on the driveway, if you don't mind. And thank you for letting me use your chat. They're asking for 24 feet, an 8-foot, going down from 9 feet to 8 feet, which is 24 feet. He's only got 22 feet. So the 2 feet is gonna be on the abutter's property. And if the reason, the way I came up with it, and maybe the gentleman here can explain to me how, maybe it's different. But from the house, in the addition is 14, and actually he made a statement that it might be more than 14. Then from this point over to the boundary is 8 feet, so 14 and 8's 22. So he's asking for a 24-foot variance, 24-foot variance, he's only got 22 feet. So that's another concern that I have. Is that correct?
I'd have to go back and.
It's right here, that's why I had this plan here.
Well, there's a keynote that says 8 feet.
Yes. There's a keynote that says it's 8 feet, and the addition is 14, so that's 22. Yeah.
Okay, anything else, Francis?
Well, I could keep on going on the letter, but you guys, did you read the letter?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you read all of it?
Did you want me to read it into the record?
Please.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that would
Yes,
be nice,
please.
thank you.
no problem.
I'll sit down.
Okay, sounds good. So the letter says, "My name is Gil Druin at 24 Gerard Street, Laconia, New Hampshire, and am the abutting owner to the right of Shelley Daniels Marcoux's property at 18 Gerard Street, Laconia, New Hampshire. She is requesting a number of variances in order to construct a garage and special exception to allow this residential addition to be utilized as a multifamily 3-unit apartment house and open-air deck at said location. I have some questions and concerns regarding the proposed construction for ZB 2025-043. Lot number is 426-91-51 for parking. She is concerned it's unable to accommodate the 20-foot for variance request. Actual parking dimensions and variance dimensions do not match up. They only have 22 feet and are requesting 24 feet. They also would like to know if the garage is in compliance with 235-50, which she brought up. For variance criteria impact. This will impact the adjacent properties and the roadway for number 3. Pedestrian safety would be impacted. For number 4, which properties have similar existing conditions? There are 8 properties on Gerard Street. 6 of the 8 are currently used as single-family dwellings with adequate parking. The other 2 properties are 27 Gerard Street, it's a 3-family unit on approximately a half-acre lot with an adequate parking area, and 18 Gerard Street is a 2-family unit on .15 acres. And for number 5, the request to reduce the parking surface space from 9 feet to 8 feet for 3 vehicles, a reduction from the 5 required for a 3-family unit, would be 24 feet wide in the driveway. The distance in front of the garage to the property border is only 22 feet. The variance, if granted, would be 2 feet on the neighbor's property. I don't think you'd be able to get out of the passenger side without stepping onto her property, and she doesn't want her tenants' cars or contractors on her property. The proposed parking area has a garage and a 22 by 15-foot parking area for 3 cars. Considering the standard midsize SUV is approximately 6 foot wide without counting mirrors and 16 feet long, if you place 3 vehicles side by side, you would only have approximately 15 inches between them. Not nearly enough room to enter or exit the vehicle. The length is also an issue since 16 feet would put you on the sidewalk. Add a standard pickup truck 19 by 6.5 feet, you've totally blocked the sidewalk. Pedestrian walking down the sidewalk, the street only has 1 sidewalk, would have to enter the street in order to get by. Pedestrian safety would be impacted. For snow removal and storage, the sidewalk plow would not be able to get by the vehicles parked in the driveway that are overlapping onto the sidewalk. Since you can't put snow on the street or on your neighbor's property, it needs to be stored on the property. The only place to store the snow is in the 8-foot space along the right side of the garage, which abuts Ms. Druin's property. It's unlikely that area will accommodate the volume of snow in the parking area. The spring snowmelt / runoff will most likely find its way over to Ms. Druin's property, creating an erosion problem. This could create a hardship on her as the abutter. For ZB 2025-41, it's currently zoned RG, 1 and 2 family are allowed. Variance criteria impact for number 1 on that variance, as noted above, there are 8 houses on Gerard Street. 6 of the 8 are currently used as single-family dwellings. 27 Gerard Street is a 3-family, and 18 Gerard Street is a 2-family. The other 3-family they are referring to is on Winter Street, and that is 1.5 as wide as Gerard Street, with 2 sidewalks. The majority of these homes could supply 2-family housing, but have elected to use them as single-family dwellings. She really feels that this is the characteristics of Gerard Street. For number 3, see note below regarding runoff and density issue. The roof of the proposed addition in the rear of the building will be sloped towards the property line, along with a valley in the roof, and with only 3 feet between the proposed addition and the property line, it's likely to the runoff will make its way again over to Ms. Druin's property and cause additional yard erosion. Gutters, if installed, will stop most of the runoff in the beginning, but they will eventually fill with debris. Gutter clearing will be an issue since the property boundary is only 3 feet from the house. You'll not be able to put up the ladder to clean them. Safe ladder placement requires 1 foot out for every 4 feet up. As noted by the applicant in attachment 33, line 5, at just .14 acres, the subject property is by far the smallest lot on Gerard Street. It is fully non-conforming with all current city dimensional zoning regulations. Ms. Druin agrees the house does not conform with current city dimensional zoning regulations, and if this addition is approved, it would make the building even bigger and non-conforming on 3 of its 4 sides. This is in conflict with the purpose/spirit of the ordinance for setbacks and adds to the density issue. For application ZB 2025-042, she is concerned this is a violation of Article 6, Section 235-35, subsection F1, which is between buildings. In addition to the 10-foot side setback required, all new buildings or additions to existing buildings shall be erected in such a location that would, to the greatest extent possible, provide a 20-foot separation from any other existing building locating on an adjacent lot. It's hard to get an exact measurement without the building there. However, her house is 16 feet from the boundary. The variance criteria impact for numbers 1 and 2 of that variance, this is not a minimal setback request, since the back corner of the addition is just 3 feet from the property border. The side of this addition will be from 19 to 24 feet away from Ms. Druin's home. If her math is correct, 30+% of this addition will be built in the setback area. For number 3 of the variance criteria, the proposed location and configuration of the new addition will negatively affect her as the abutter. Performing home maintenance on the new addition, such as cleaning of gutters, etc., will most likely entail trespassing on the abutter's property and will also hinder sunlight. For number 4 of the variance criteria, she does not believe the neighborhood will see this addition as conforming to the existing structures on the street, since most have ample space in between them. For number 5, as noted by the subject property owner, this is the smallest lot on the street and the current home does not conform to dimensional zoning regulations. She is opposed to the proposal of adding a garage and additional apartment to 18 Gerard Street, and I'm asking the board to deny the request. Any reference to measurements are approximate and based on provided plans and physical observation of the site. That's all I have here.
Thank you. Well read.
Well done.
Thank you.
Don't you invite him to come back up and address anything that?
Do you want to address the concerns?
No?
That's for Bill Breely. Okay, we'll close the public hearing and discussion amongst the board. I hate to say it, but she just doesn't have the space.
Yes.
It's a tiny lot as it is. There's 2 families there now.
Right.
To add a 3rd one in there with all these variances would be detrimental to the entire area.
Does anyone know if the city plows the sidewalk on Gerard Street?
Yes, it does.
They plow all the sidewalks.
Okay.
I'm surprised.
If it's a public street, it is maintained by Department of Public Works.
Yeah.
But I think that the 15-foot driveway is a real issue if the city's running a snowplow through that sidewalk, especially when you can't park on the street in the winter.
Right.
Yeah, the lot really only is supposed to support not even 1 unit.
Yeah,
And she wants to go to 3? Yeah.
It's just asking for too much.
That's,
So if this first one doesn't pass, do we just skip the next 2?
well,
So-
if you can't get by the first one.
You would still have to vote on
you
each
still have to
application.
vote on
Okay.
each one, okay, yeah.
So, I'm sorry to say, we'll have to ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to deny, application ZB 2025.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we, you closed public hearing for this
Yes,
one,
you
correct?
did,
Okay,
yep.
just making sure.
I make a motion to deny application ZB 2025-041, which was asking for a variance from Article 6, Section 235-35, for maximum density. They were requesting a 2-unit home to become a 3-unit home. And so taking a look at the criteria, which Marcia has written down somewhere in this mess. Here we go. The criteria, the first one criteria is that the variance is not contrary to the public interest. We believe that the proposal is contrary to the public interest because the lot is too small to accommodate 3 units. Given the size is only .14 acres and can't even accommodate 1 unit, it certainly can't accommodate 3 units. So therefore, we do think it is contrary to the public interest. Therefore, if criteria number 1 is not met, then criteria number 2 is not met. With regards to substantial justice, the benefit to the applicant, I think there is more benefit to the public here than there is, because we want safety of the public with regards to movement along the sidewalk. We don't want vehicles overhanging it. We want the streets to be plowed in the winter. And so therefore, there is a greater benefit to the public than there is to the applicant.
Can I pause you real quick? I
Yes.
just want to confirm. This is for the special exception application first, correct? Because that's what we just held public hearing on.
No, we had a public hearing on a variance, not a special exception.
I do believe it was for ZB 2025-040, which is for the special exception.
Oh, it's for the special exception. I have for 1, which was the variance for dimensional standards, no?
I believe it was for the special exception.
041
Yeah, 2 would be
is
for
the
the,
variance.
Yes, we'll get to that one next. Sorry.
So, we need to go, scratch that, let's go back to special exception, then, I'm sorry, that
no
it's
worries.
for the
Just wanna make
special
sure.
exception. So now I have to find my criteria for special exceptions.
because that one's gonna be, I think, A through H.
Yeah, they've got all those criteria for that, and I didn't pull it up because I didn't think that's where we were going. So, somebody either has to find it, or I have to find it.
I got my book here also.
Yeah.
You got it, Jane?
This one. Let's see. I just have to find it.
Does anybody know what page that's on in this booklet?
The special exception criteria?
Exceptional criteria for
Something for
special
multi-
exceptions.
It would also be on their application too as well.
See, but I don't have that.
Oh, gotcha.
I
Coming at
don't
you.
have that application. I just have the variance application.
It's coming right towards you.
Is
It is, huh?
4269151.
What page?
26.
You got it? Yep. Perfect.
Let me
Scott.
say, thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's back up here.
I don't have that on page.
Okay, so
Maybe I don't have the
we're
ruler.
gonna start over, and we're going to deny the application ZB 2025-040, which is a special exception, asking for a multifamily dwelling. Okay. And the criteria are, the use requested is specifically authorized in this chapter. That is true. So it does meet A. B, the request use will create undue traffic congestion. That we feel it does not meet. We feel there will be congestion and impacting the city in terms of, A, maintaining the sidewalks, or maybe even safety for people walking down the sidewalk. So I would say that it does not meet B. C, the request use will not overload public water, drainage, or sewer. That probably is true, unless somebody can
No, I
tell
don't.
me otherwise, but that probably wouldn't be true. The request use will not create excessive demand on police, fire, probably doesn't do that either. Any special provisions, we haven't put any in. The request use will not create hazards to health, safety, or general welfare of the public. That one, I believe it does violate. So I think between C and F, that those two regarding public health and safety would not be met in this situation, and would be the reasons that we would deny the use for multipurpose. And the proposed location is appropriate. It is not appropriate because the lot size is too small. And H, the request use is considered in the spirit and the intent. It is not matching the intent of the ordinance by going to 3 units on such a small lot. Does not meet the criteria of the ordinance. And for those reasons, I would suggest that we deny the special exception.
Thank you for that clear up, Marcia. We have a motion.
Oh, second.
Thank you, Jane. Any further discussion? She just doesn't have the space to do what she wants to do. It's a nice plan, but it can't happen here.
Yeah, they tried.
All in favor of the motion? It's
Alright.
denied.
Okay.
So now we
So-
go back to,
So, yep, you'll have to either go through all those unless the applicant wishes to withdraw at this point, the rest of their variances, or if they don't wish to withdraw, we will have to go through each one and you will have to vote on each one.
I'll give them a moment to ponder. Pardon me, Gail?
okay,
Okay, so the applicant withdraws their remaining 3 applications.
okay.
Got it.
All right.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Shelley.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not done.
All right.
Alrighty. Moving right along, we have 51 Academy Street.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hello,
Hi, good evening. Are you ready for me?
please.
Ready.
Okay. I'm gonna try not to let that discourage me. My name is Sarah Wordy. I'm here from Du Bois and King. I'm the engineer that helped draft this plan. So 51 Academy Street, existing conditions are a large single-family home on a pretty small lot, 0.09 acres. With a non-conforming lot, does not meet the minimum size in the zone. The existing single-family home does not meet setbacks, green space requirements, lots of things. So the proposal is to demolish the existing structure and replace it with a 2-family residence. We are shrinking the footprint of the building to become more conforming than the existing structure. And we are additionally adding parking spaces to provide for 2 parking spaces for each unit as required, where the existing residents did not have any parking on the lot. There was a single garage entrance really close to the road, not even enough space to park your car there. Unclear if that's what was used or if they just parked in the alleyway, driveway, right of way behind. So creating parking on the lot is clearly ideal for some of the things that were touched on for the last application. Providing off-street parking gets those cars off the road so that they don't become a hazard during a winter storm event. Trash pickup, anything like that, getting them off the road and onto the lot is a positive. Additionally, in a climate like this where affordable housing is being screamed everywhere, providing an additional unit is an asset to the city. And many adjacent properties have 2-family homes on similar, if not smaller, lots. Specifically, 80 Bowman is a 2-family located on a 0.06 acre lot. 57 Academy Street is a 4 to 8 unit multifamily located on a 0.15 acre lot. 193 Court Street is a 2-family on a 0.06 acre lot. So it would be in good company as a 2-family on a small lot. The lot is served by municipal water and sewer. So that is also surprising, even for a lot with water and sewer, it's still an undersized, non-conforming lot. Do you have any questions? Would you like me to kind of walk through the criteria? The applicants.
I
Okay,
think you
yes.
did a great job in your presentation.
It's one of my least favorite things when people just come up and read their whole application that you received. But I'm happy to speak on anything. And we did provide some supplemental information provided by the owner's lawyer. So the first variance request is for the density to allow the two-family.
Yeah.
And then our second variance request is to allow for less green space than is required.
Yeah.
And I guess to just speak on that one more point, we are reducing the footprint of the actual structure. So if we were not providing any parking, then the green space requirement, we wouldn't be here actually, because it would have been non-conforming. It'd stay non-conforming, but be more conforming. It's the parking that pushes us over what the existing conditions are.
By 5%, it seems like, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're decreasing by 5%.
Yes.
Shelley, I see plans for the building, but not really a plot plan where the parking would be.
We showed 4 parking spaces at the rear. So Academy Street, Bowman Street, and then the 4 parking spaces
Are off of Bowman.
right here.
Is that the alleyway that they would access those 4 parking places?
There's like it's a paved driveway,
A driveway,
that they
yeah.
have a right of
There's
way
room
over.
to make the swing to get 4 cars in there?
It's tight. It is tight. But we did maneuvering.
Like they could do a K-turn to get in there, okay? or-
The other option that we looked at was putting parking, on the lot, but adjacent to Bowman Street. But we didn't want to cause issues with the sidewalk that's provided there. This location is ideal for providing for pedestrian traffic. We don't want the parking to be a hindrance to that.
And it's on a corner too, and I don't think
Yeah.
you'd want it there.
Any other questions for? Oh, Eric had to recuse himself.
He did.
Did we make that official? Do we have? to
He
say-
left the table,
He
but
left
if
the
you want to,
table.
we can state that Eric Hoffman did
Um,
recuse himself, so.
Is that all, Shelley? Anything else?
Sarah, but
Did we have a letter on this?
No, I don't believe
No.
we received anything.
Okay, Shelley, I'll ask you to have a seat, please, and we'll open the public hearing.
Sarah.
I was close.
You were close. Began with an S.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sarah.
you can call me whatever you want.
Shelley's all right. I didn't know. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this application? Please come up. We have no takers. Discussion amongst the board. I can almost be persuaded on this one.
I have no problems with it.
Because right now, it's a horrible
You know,
eyesore.
to tear it down
Absolutely.
and build another building
And it's just a
with
two-family.
a 2
it's-
units and
it's-
with 4 parking spaces, it would improve that neighborhood.
No kidding. It's a
So-
Yeah,
great
it-
plan.
You know, I don't oppose tearing it down and putting something nice up. I could live without the green space. They have the park around the corner to use. And, they have a sidewalk, they have parking places.
Yep.
Alrighty.
It was nice. I'll make a motion to grant application ZB 2025-045.
You got it.
Okay. Requesting a variance from Article 5, Section 235-33 to grant a single-family residence into a two-family residence, and I'm going to use as the finding of facts everything they put in their application as the evidence. I don't need to go through it. They've explained it all in their application, and we use that as the rationale.
Very
Perfect.
good. We have to vote on this
Yes.
right
Yeah.
now, and then the second one.
Yeah, the greens, that's
Yeah,
what I was gonna say.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So do we need a second on my motion to grant?
I will second.
All in favor? Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Lovely. Let's move along and give them a break on the green space.
Sure. I make a motion to grant application ZB 2025-046 a variance from Article 6, Section 235-36, granting a green space reduction from 60% to 55%, again, for the finding of facts to be the rationale presented in the application.
Okay, all right. I'll get with you on that, just to make sure that we're looking at the same thing.
I have a motion.
Excuse me,
also-
real quick.
Oops.
We need to open up public hearing for
I'm
this one. too.
sorry.
Sorry, hate to
That's all
throw a
right.
wrench in
That's
that.
right.
Is anybody from the public like to speak about the green space variance? No takers on that. So we do have a motion.
I will second.
Thank you, Jane. Any further discussion?
I don't.
All right. All in favor?
Beautiful.
Very good. Good presentation, Sarah. Thank you for coming in.
So much.
Oh, I have to text Eric now, he can come back into the room. That was my.
Is
my-
that his house?
No, he says, text me when we're ready to come back in.
If he's just in the
You
room.
may come back in.
Self-made.
Here he goes. Okay. All right.
So I believe we have the 3 left, the 2 for the 33 Reynolds, 322.
Yep,
And
Yep.
then the Weir's
and then Weir's Boulevard, so we have 3 left, yep.
Well, where are you, Eric? Oh, there
There
you
he
are.
comes.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
All righty. The last application passed, Eric, if you're interested.
That's because Du Bois and King does such a great job.
Right?
They do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next up is 322 South Main Street. Asking to increase to allow 2 additional units of density on the property. Hello.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Winter. I am the property manager for S&K Rehab. So, we are looking to add 2 more units to the back barn. So I'm not looking to build a new building or anything like that. There's a back barn that's attached to currently Paradise Island Tanning, which is up in the front. And then there's a 2-unit building in the back. And then behind that, there's a barn that is not being utilized for anything besides, basically it's 2-car parking. And then upstairs is just like a loft. So we're just looking to add 2 more units back there onto a blueprint that already exists. And just looking to add some more units into the city. We rent to all sorts of different people and whatnot throughout the city, and so we're just looking to add a couple more units in there, some affordable housing, those kinds of things, and just actually utilize the building that we currently have.
How many apartments are in the building right
2.
now?
2.
With a commercial unit up front.
Okay, because I saw 3 garbage cans.
Yep, so 1 would be for Paradise Island, meaning the commercial space, and then 2 would be for the back unit in the back, 1 for apartment 1 and then apartment 2.
Are they upstairs, downstairs, or side to side?
Upstairs, downstairs.
Huh?
They're pretty big units, honestly. I mean, you could split them in half and you could have really a 4-unit building within that, but they're huge units inside. We're not looking to do that.
So Stephanie, again, my big concern is parking. And I'm looking at this. Okay, and in order to go to 4 units, you need 6 spaces.
Correct.
Okay, and you're trying to tell me that you've got plenty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out size. I looked at your driveway. I've tried to use the scale on this piece of paper. And I'd like to know, what are your dimensions here for each one of these slots?
19 by 9.
19 by 9. How much room is that leaving you right in here?
It's roughly, I think, 15-ish or so feet. It's tight, don't get me wrong. I put 10 spaces on there. You don't need 10 spaces.
No, you only need 6.
Correct.
But according to when I was using the scale here, I wasn't coming up with any 15 feet in here.
Okay.
So
it's 66 feet total, right, across the board. The building is 32 feet wide, and then 32 minus the 19 minus the 66. What do you come up with? I don't know off the top of my head, unfortunately.
I will point out that
Yeah.
they will have to go to planning board to amend their site plan, at which point we'll have to talk about delineating their parking spaces, making
Okay.
sure they have enough
Okay,
there.
and that it can,
fit on the lot.
fit on the lot?
Correct.
So
Okay.
the other option that we looked at too is those parking spaces could go in the back where the snow storage is realistically, and we could put the snow storage on the left versus actually shoving it all the way to the back. The left-hand side there, we use for storage anyway currently, and kind of push it backwards. So the parking, there's ample amount of parking either which way, kind of whichever way you look at it. But I think, obviously, you need 6 parking spaces. Right now, they only utilize 2. Obviously, the tanning salon is only open from 9 to 6, so it's business hours. It's never gonna have an overnight person. It's never gonna, we're not moving it from a tanning salon. It's just never gonna change. And so, obviously, if the building were to sell, then yes, you would need that. But for the most part of it, you have, pretty much the whole back could accommodate 6 parking spaces, let alone the side. And if we need to move snow, we'll move snow.
Well,
You might
no,
wanna
I think
consider-
Tyler's, helpful in telling us it'll go before planning.
Yes,
and-
yeah.
And to make sure, okay.
And we also include a standard condition with snow removal as well, that, if they don't have adequate storage on their lot, then they're gonna have to provide an option to remove it, so that we will address that as well.
And I did with the property owner the other day, kind of put the trucks and everything aligned to see how it worked, and it's definitely tight, kind of like what everybody said the last way, but, you take away the 4 parking spaces that I added in there, I think you would have ample amount of space, maybe not necessarily like in the middle of the building, but the 2 ends definitely have enough to swing. I've been doing it all week to make sure that I don't hit the building, kind of a thing, but
You might want to consider angling the parking spots.
Definitely,
You
yep.
might lose 1 or 2, but it would be way easier to get in and out
Right.
of there, and it would give you a little more space between the spots in the building.
yep. And I have my guy go out and stripe it and the whole thing, and it would look pretty.
Very good. Okay, Stephanie, you can have a seat, please, and I'll open the public hearing.
Sounds good.
Do we have a letter on this?
That one we did, yes.
We do, yes.
I'll ask Tyler to read it, please.
All right. So this is regarding 322 South Main Street. Dear Zoning Board, please accept this letter as a notice of concerns about the change of use of the property at 322 South Main Street. As owner of 314 South Main Street, my property directly abuts 322 South Main Street. My main concern is about the insufficient parking that is available currently, and a change of use of the property into additional residential units would expand the problem of insufficient parking. The existing structure and driveway at 322 South Main Street does not have enough space to accommodate 2 cars per unit, plus a visitor per unit, plus additional parking for the tanning salon business at the front of the property. My understanding is that the tanning salon business has multiple beds and tanning booths, so between customers and workers, there is a need for multiple parking spots. As the building currently is used, I have found some of the tenants or visitors using the parking in front of and behind my building at 314 South Main Street, which is not appropriate and would only get worse with more units. My tenants have had to notify me when other vehicles are parked out front and overnight in my lot, and I am concerned that this would only worsen if the plans proceed with 322 South Main Street. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions or would like to discuss. I appreciate your consideration. Regards, Ron Olzak. I will say they do meet their parking requirement per the zoning ordinance, so.
Yeah, I was there just today, actually, and it seemed like a pretty big driveway up there. The letter, is that from the person north or south of this?
314? That
Would
is
be
an-
north of it,
I'm
correct?
thinking north.
Yeah, I want to say he's the next one in sequence as you're headed back towards the center of town.
Towards Vista Way,
Yeah.
yeah.
I should have had a map pulled up.
It is labeled on
Stephanie-
this one picture. It says 314 on the building next to it. Should be in your packet, because it's all mine.
Aha.
The tanning salon, it's run by somebody that doesn't live in the building, I assume?
The tanning salon's run by us. Yeah, so nobody rents.
So there's a employee parking plus customer parking
Correct,
to
outside,
deal with
yeah.
that.
The tenant next door, they actually have people that park overnight there. So I think that's probably the issue more so, is that they use the street parking for overnight parking, and you can't do that. And they tend to park in front of the salon. And so I think that's just an argument between owner and owner kind of
Uh-huh.
thing. I don't think it's necessarily like
Has there been issues in the past with parking, or?
No, not parking necessarily, there's issues between like, you have your business, right? And so you wanna leave at least the two, parking spaces that are in front of the business open, but you have South End Pizza that parks all the way down to the tanning salon on
Right.
Monday nights, so there's
Right.
not, you can't own the street. So I think that's kind of what the neighbor next door is trying to do in a way. I'm trying to say it nicely.
Thank you, Stephanie. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak about this? Anybody here tonight? I'll close the public meeting and discussion amongst the board.
And just to clarify, 314 is south, closer towards South End Pizza.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
One more question, Stephanie. The barn proposed conversion to apartments, would it be upstairs, downstairs, or?
Yes, it would just be upstairs, downstairs. So the way that the building is kind of set up right now is, so you have the tanning salon on the front, you have a upstairs, downstairs tenant there. There is a, I don't know if you want to call it like a lean-to type thing. That
Mudroom?
kind of connects the hallways, I guess, together
Yeah.
between the garage and that, and the apartments, I should say. And then there's a staircase that actually comes in the back of the garage that goes to the top, and it's all enclosed, I guess, at the moment.
And so the proposed conversion would be,
Upstairs, downstairs.
In the
Just like,
garage.
yep, in the garage, just like, and the garage, I believe is, I mean, there's enough room for 2 cars and all of our trash cans and everything for the downstairs, and it probably is at least a car and a half, if not more, in depth. So you're looking at bigger than Bay Street apartments, I guess. That's what I compare things to.
very good. Thank you, Stephanie. Talk to me.
As long as the parking issue can be addressed, I don't seem to have a problem with it.
I'm leaning towards approval myself.
I just zoomed in and turned around and there was no, it was
But you
pretty,
didn't have all those cars.
yeah. But it's pretty wide.
I think even if you put 6 spaces in a row where they would parallel park, you could fit the required amount of spaces. I mean,
Right. It was just this
think it meets the
diagram
requirement.
was questionable.
Or like Eric said, angle parking
Yeah,
would be
angle
nice too.
parking or,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Do Main Street.
I don't know, we could use 2 units downtown.
want me to make a motion? We ready?
Any further discussion? Jane, Eric,
I have,
nothing?
I forgot my glasses, so
Okay.
I'm not.
I make a motion to grant the application ZB 2025-047 to allow a variance from Article 6, Section 235-33, requesting a 2-family unit to go to a 4-family unit. The variance is not contrary to the public because this is in the commercial zone, and the proposal of this number of housing is appropriate for this zone. And it is characteristic of the neighborhood as well, so there isn't, we are not changing the character of the neighborhood by going to a 4-family unit. If criteria 1 is met, then criteria 2 is met. Substantial justice, the benefit to the applicant should not be outweighed by harm to the general public. So there really isn't any overarching benefit to the general public other than providing housing for the city of Laconia. So I think substantial justice is done. The value of the surrounding properties are not diminished. We have no evidence to indicate whether they are increased or decreased by this proposal. Number 5, literal enforcement of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship. I think, I'm not sure what the hardship is here. All
Lack
I
of
know
housing.
is that there is the proposal to convert the garage to a 2-family unit is appropriate for the property. So it's a reasonable request to grant this variance.
I will second.
Thank you, Jane. Any further discussion? All in favor of letting the apartment go into the garage? Very good. Motion passes. Thank you. Stephanie, you're on the next one also?
I am.
Well, you're getting all around, aren't you? Come and tell us what you want to do on Rowell Street.
All right, so 33 Rowell Street currently is a lot that has a two-family on it. And that two-family also has pretty much an adjacent lot to it. And it's roughly about 20,000 square feet, 20,800 square feet, give or take. And pretty much all we're looking to do is split it right down the middle and provide a buildable lot on the left-hand side of Rowell Street. And that will allow someone who is a builder to be able to build on that lot, not necessarily us, but provide an opportunity for someone else to be able to have a buildable lot in Laconia, and they can make it a density of 2 unit, just like the one at 33 Rowell Street would be. And
So you want to split the lot and
Split the
sell
lot.
it eventually?
Yep, split the lot and allow, someone else to be able to build on it.
Very
Maybe,
good.
maybe we can figure out how to build, but I'm not a builder necessarily.
Very good.
But yeah.
Any
So
questions for her?
I do, Stephanie.
Yeah.
When I look at you got .48 acres. And to meet the zoning requirement of 6 units per acre, you currently on that lot could have 2.88 units, and you have 2.
Correct.
So let's round it up and say you could have 3. By splitting the lot, why is it you want to put, to me, it's perfect for 3 units on that total piece of property, 3 units. But you want to put a duplex on that other property.
Correct.
You want it to be 4. Why not just 1?
I was just trying to make it like the house next door, so the house that currently is there, that blueprint, if you were to essentially put it on the other lot, it would be the same thing. And not only that, it provides 2 more units for Laconia, and Laconia is looking for units kind of everywhere, so it provides affordable housing inside of the school district versus having to necessarily, bus them everywhere and those kinds of things too.
Question for Scott and Tyler. If we let them split the lot, would they have to come back and ask permission to build a 2-family instead of a 1-family?
Pending, possibly.
Or would we approve that right now?
I believe this is in the RG, so if you approve the variance for density, well, this is all combined, so you'd have to approve the whole thing. So yes, if you approve this application, they would not have to come back. They are permitted by right then at that point,
They
because
would
they
sell
meet the
it as
density.
a
Yep, they
duplex
could,
lot.
yes, because they are in the RG and 2-family is permitted, they just don't meet the density requirements. So the zone does permit 2-family, it's just the lot wouldn't be big enough.
And any
for
future
density.
setbacks, any kind of encroachment like that would have to be revisited anyway.
Okay.
The reality is you would still have to approve the variance for the road frontage for them to subdivide. But like I said, you can't split it up in this instance, it's all or nothing.
So you're requesting less road frontage, less than the 80 feet. So what are you requesting?
So I believe that it is split up 63.8 and 63.8. And there's roughly about 4 other houses on that road that already are below the 80 foot, so it kind of meets the requirements of around it.
Well, you say that. Let's see. In the table for dimensions, it says any new construction must meet the new setback and green space areas. So, to me, I don't know as if you want to construct a new building on that lot, that you would be meeting those setback and green space requirements.
If you guys approve the variance and they came back in, they would have to mark out what their setbacks are gonna be on that lot and how much green space they have, and at that point, we would have to determine whether or not they're meeting that criteria. If they didn't, then that builder would have to come back before the zoning board to request a variance to build within their setbacks and their green space. In theory, if you guys did deny this one, she could still come back and ask for a variance to make the lot smaller, so that way she could still subdivide. If you guys aren't comfortable with allowing for a two-family there, so that is an option for her if she chooses to take it. But in this instance, to your concerns, that builder would still have to come back and submit for a variance in that case for whatever they want to do. This is just purely to subdivide the lot and then to allow for that use.
Yeah, but also to reduce
Frontage.
the frontage.
Road frontage, correct. Yep.
To do both.
Yep.
So,
Okay, Steffi, you can have a seat, please.
Okay.
We don't have a letter on this one.
Oh, we do.
Oh, thank you, Tyler.
Let me go ahead and read it here. All right. So this says, "Hi, Savannah. We have been thinking about our concerns regarding 33 Rowell Street. I'm trying to say, I think it says, I think they meant while the current owner purchased the building from the Gammons, they had said they were going to finish the outside of the house and lot. The only thing that was done was the roof on the main house. The roof over the porch is still a mess. I have attached pictures of what the backside of the house as seen from our property. Like I mentioned the other day, we are very concerned that once another 2 apartments are built there, the property will not be maintained long-term. We have issues with apartments across from us on Beaman Street. They were maintained until they were sold 5 years ago to an out-of-state owner. Please take a look. The lawn has been mowed once over 5 years, but the leaves were never picked up. I end up with 20 bags of leaves in my yard twice a year, and I do not own a tree. Thanks so much, Lori Pulowski, Reitzma."
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Can I add some stuff to that?
Sure, sure.
That's myself, my husband's here. My late husband and I bought that property 30 years ago this summer. So it was 30 years ago.
Your name, ma'am?
Lori Ritzma.
The
You
author.
wrote the letter.
Yes, I sent that.
Oh, okay.
Just,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I wanted to attach those pictures.
Yeah.
Also, like, if they divide the property in half, I'm concerned the parking area now that they have there, there's currently like usually is at least 4 cars there 80% of the time, 4 to 6 cars. I don't see how they're gonna even have enough parking because they'd have to have 4 more parking spaces accessible to another building.
So whoever came to build there would be required to follow zoning criteria. But again, at that point, if whatever they decided to design didn't meet that zoning criteria, it would then have to come back before this board to approve any potential variances at this point.
I think they're looking to divide it so that they'll have a higher selling price. I guess it's being put on the market, from what I've been told. The maintenance of it, it's like I said in the email, I'm very concerned about that. The people across the street on Beaman Street, they bought it, and they did maintain it for the whole time they owned it, then they sold it, and it hasn't been maintained at all. And there's trees there. I don't know what's gonna happen with all that green space.
Have you reached out to the code enforcement department?
Oh,
by
yes.
chance?
many
Okay,
ti-
all
yeah,
right,
they
just
know
want to make
me.
sure.
Oh, yes, I've called them every year, many times every year.
Have you sent them these pictures by chance? Do you know?
You talking about for the Rowell Street?
Yes, so, because the issue you're talking about is the existing house.
Oh, okay, no, I have not done that.
So I would just recommend that that's the route you can
That's
go to
coding?
address, yes,
enforcement?
code enforcement to address
I
any
haven't
maintenance
called them on
concerns.
that one. Are you looking, when you're doing this approval, are you looking at parking for when they subdivide it?
So right now, this would not be to look at parking. This would just purely be to whether or not the lot could support 2 units or 1. When they go to build, if they do, or a future builder does go to build on that lot, at that point, the planning board would review the parking situation to ensure they have enough parking for that property. If they did not, then at that point, that developer would come back before this board and ask, hey, can we have less than what we're required to have for parking? So that is not gonna be addressed, it wouldn't be addressed now, just because we don't know what anybody is proposing to build there. This is just purely to separate the lot and say if the lot could support 2 units. That's it.
Hopefully you'll say no. Because we've already, in the 30 years I've been there, we got 2 new a duplex across the street with 2 new apartments, and 4 houses that used to be single or 2-family houses have gone community land trust, so we have 6 community land trusts on that street as well. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in, ma'am. Anybody else like to speak about this property? Come on up, Steph.
So we actually sold the building in 2022 to the current person that's living there. We did a like a rent-to-own type thing. That was then defaulted. Therefore, we were not responsible for essentially the condition of the building. So I will just kind of speak upon that. As for it going on the market or anything like that, I don't know where that was being told to, so I just kind of wanted to respond to that purpose of that. But going forward, we have now resumed it after, you have to go through the process of whether, foreclose, whatever the case is. And so then we will then take that ownership back on, just so you know. Our other buildings don't necessarily have problems or anything like that with it, so we will make sure
Thank you for
we will
clarifying.
make sure that we address those. And I'll go over there, because I'm not necessarily over there all the time to take pictures,
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess that's it. We'll close the public meeting, hearing,
Okay.
and discussion amongst the board. I think we're opening up a can of worms, like saying it's a two duplex lot.
I think looking at the layout, it's obvious why they want to subdivide it, because the house is all the way to one side, and
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna subdivide it, doing it exactly in half is probably the best case scenario, right? And yeah, they're at 63 some odd feet of frontage, but they're really deep lots, so I don't really think there's space for a driveway for on both of these properties.
No,
I don't see an issue with it.
I agree, it's a huge side
It's
lot, I
really
can
side,
see putting a house in there, but I kind of questioned a duplex maybe, but
Do
you're
they-
saying it doesn't matter, we're just here to
No.
subdivide the
Subdivide the
property
lot.
and.
But we have
So
to approve it for a duplex.
Right,
if we
so right now
subdivide.
she's asking for density, so it does matter, you guys will have to judge and determine, does this lot support 2 units? We just don't know how those units are gonna be built, that's all I'm saying.
Does the lot size support 2 units? Is that in regulation, or they need to?
Not really, it
No.
really only
The zone
supports one.
supports 2 units. The lot size is what the acreage is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And if a new lot is created, it'll be,
So per the zoning ordinance, they are permitted to have 1 unit by right.
right,
They're coming back to ask for 2. And
Right.
so you guys would have to determine,
right
is
here.
it,
that's
Just and reasonable.
if you cut the lot in half, that's what it supports. That's what it
1.5
supports.
units?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well. That's a crowded neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a deep lot. How are our feelings?
I'd like to see one building put there, but not a duplex.
Well, there's, all those houses are 2-family homes and multi-family homes up in that neighborhood. Every one of them. It's,
Oh, yeah, some of them are 3-family homes up in
So,
that neighborhood, definitely.
kind of leaning towards approval, if we're not. It would be new construction, done properly. Eric, make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Please do.
Oh, I need to say more than that?
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
You have to go down
Could you-
through the
I was gonna say,
criteria
yeah.
for it.
Could you say the application number and,
Sure.
yeah,
And
and why you're
and this-
motioning to approve?
And this
Hate to put you
criteria,
on the
do you want
spot.
the criteria?
What's that?
You want the criteria?
Sure, thanks. Let me find the motion number, hold on. Gotta scroll through all this. The application number. I'll make a motion to approve application ZB 2025-048 for 33 Ralph Street. Variance is requested to permit subdivision of 33 Ralph Street. Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest. It's gonna allow another buildable lot.
It fits the character of the neighborhood.
Does fit the character of the neighborhood. So if it meets number one, it meets number two, as Marcia always says.
Good point.
I like that, as Marcia always says.
Number three, granted the variance would do substantial justice. What does that mean?
That means that basically.
Like really?
Couldn't he say?
If
as
there,
they-
if.
Does he have this one?
That's,
Let me read it to you, Eric.
Okay.
I gave him a Wells
Substantial
one.
justice
Yeah,
is
I
done
gave that to him.
if there's any loss to the individual that is not outweighed by a gain to the general public, it is an injustice. So there really isn't any gain to the general public that is greater than what would be gained by the individual.
Right.
Okay, so we want justice, you know, she is given justice by granting the variance, because there really isn't anything that would be beneficial to the general public that would outweigh denying.
I see.
Are you? That's sometimes a little confusing.
I don't think it really applies to this.
Oh, no,
think is
I
what I'm
don't
gonna
either.
say.
Yeah.
Number four, the variance were granted, the values of the surrounding properties would not be diminished. I think this kind of falls in line with the way the neighborhood currently looks and the current density of the neighborhood. I don't think it's going to affect property values either way. Unnecessary hardship. Doesn't really apply either. It's a reasonable request.
For the size of the property, it is.
Right.
Yep.
That's what I got.
Okay.
Very good. We have a motion.
I will second.
Any further discussion? I think having a new construction in a neighborhood would be beneficial. So I'm in favor of it. All those in favor? Motion passes. Stephanie did good.
She knows her properties. And she knows her properties.
Just wish all the properties were well taken care of.
Next, we have Bully's Bay, 427 Weirs Boulevard. Are you Cynthia?
I'm not. I'm Erin Lambert. Cynthia is out of town.
Erin? Thank you for coming to see us.
Thank you for having us.
Mr. Chair, those rolled up ones there are the same as she has on the board there, if you wanted to utilize those.
Just added a little bit of color because sometimes it's easier to be pointing at another dark black line.
I appreciate that personally, yes.
Would you like me to begin?
Did you want one of these?
I can see perfectly.
Eric,
I
you
don't.
want one of these?
No, I'm good.
No,
Oh,
I'm
it's
good.
paper.
Yeah,
No, they killed a lot of trees.
I'll take them back from you, too.
Okay. Go ahead, Erin,
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
perfect. No, thank you for having us. My name is Erin Lambert with Wilcox & Barton. We're the site civil engineer on behalf of Bully's Bay LLC. I apologize, Ryan Foley wanted to be here, but he did have an emergency this evening and couldn't make it, so he sends his apologies. We're here tonight for 427 Weirs Boulevard. It's a 0.85 acre property located on Paugus Bay. The variance we were requesting is from Article 235, Section 33, requesting to go from 5 units to 6 units, where 1 acre would be required. So the property you see here is at 0.85 acres. They're looking to create a 6-unit condominium. As part of the condominium, it would also include 0.1 acres on the other side of the road by the docks. So it's very close to the 1 acre, but it doesn't quite meet it. So we're here for the density variance tonight. So the condominium would involve taking this main building, which is currently has 7 bedrooms in it, and creating 2 units. Unit 1 would have 2 bedrooms. Unit 2 would have 4 bedrooms. So there would be a net decrease in bedrooms. But the structure would be the same. There's no additions. These are 1-story cottages. It's my understanding they were or they will be raised and rebuilt. There'll still be 1 unit in each of them. So we are requesting the units go from 1 and 4 to, which is a total of 5, to a total of 6. There is adequate parking on the site, which is very important, not only to the general public, but also to our clients. So there will be 11 parking spaces, 2 dedicated to Unit 1, 3 dedicated to Unit 2. Each of the cottages, Units 3 through 6, will each have 1 space, and then there are 2 visitor spaces on the site. So there's a total of 11 parking spaces. This did already go through site plan approval. It's conditioned upon, obviously, having this variance, or 6 units will not be allowed. We were able to satisfy all the conditions of the approval, with the exception of the variance that we're here for tonight. They did upgrade some of the sewer. Part of it was replaced, part of it was relined. So in general, this is an upgrade for the neighborhood. Everything's being rebuilt. The utilities have been upgraded. Otherwise, they are all adequate to support this use. So there's no additions, there's no additional pavement. It's all within the property. It's just asking us to take a rather large building and create 2 units. And so we're confident that it meets all of the other site plan criteria. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Good. What's the square footage of the main building?
It's a great question, and I don't know if I have that answer for you. It's a 2.5-story building. I apologize, it's not on my plan.
Is it
I have-
4,300 square feet?
It's big, it's 7 bedrooms, so it wouldn't surprise me, but I
I was gonna say,
speak for the record.
it looks like the living area is 4,300 square feet, and then the total gross is 8,226 square feet.
Big building.
It's a big building. 2 of the parking spaces are in garages underneath the building.
And you say that the cottages are gonna be raised and rebuilt?
Yeah, on their footprint, so they'll go from 1 story to 2 story and still be a single unit.
There's pictures of them in there,
I saw a photo.
of them being raised
Being
up.
raised, yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't want them to go 36 feet high
No.
when they're only
They're not.
16 feet
No,
square.
just 2 stories.
That's a big concern of mine.
It seems to be happening all along the weirs, isn't it? Those little boxes are turning into towers, fire towers.
Very good, Erin. Any questions for her? Anybody else? Eric? Nobody?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Anybody from the public would like to speak on 427 Weirs Boulevard? You folks are hiding way back there.
They withdrew their, not withdrew, they asked to continue their application to the next meeting. Yes, yep, they didn't have a full board tonight, and so it's their right to ask to continue till they get a 5-person board. I apologize, I didn't realize you guys were waiting here for that.
Would you like some comments? We don't have to come back, we can put them on record.
I tell you what,
You
if
can
you
send
guys
it
want to
back.
write something down or send us an email and bring it to the planning department, we can read that in just like we did tonight for that application, okay? I apologize for that. I hope you all have a
I'm
wonderful
sorry,
evening.
folks, that you had to come
yeah.
in, but
Very educational.
write a letter
Yes.
to zoning board.
You can address it to the zoning board and bring it down to the planning department. Either way, we'll get it. Whether it's addressed to the zoning board or the planning department, goes hand in hand.
No one's particular attention?
You can say Scott Pelchat if you'd like, or I also have a business card too, and I'll give you that. That way you have my email as well.
Thank you, Tyler.
No problem.
I'm sorry, you folks
Yeah,
were
I
waiting.
feel badly too. Well, they know the process.
He's got a little case with his, I need one of those, a little case with your business cards in it. I need a business.
Sorry, Erin. We're kind of a little informal here on the zoning board. Okay, discussion amongst the proposal. I'm okay with them having just
I'm
a,
okay with it.
Yeah, looking up
Yeah.
over there, there's plenty of space. And
I was surprised they only want to put 2 units in that building, to be honest.
I went in
Erin,
the
did you hear that?
condominium place
Eric-
first
Eric
without
thinks you
realizing
could put more.
it was a different.
Don't get any ideas.
Go for more.
Okay, let's let Aaron go home. Let's get a motion.
Okay, I
going.
make a motion to grant, application ZB 2025-049, for 427 Weirs Boulevard, allowing for an increase in density from, 5 units to 6 units. Criteria. The proposed, the granting of the variance is not contrary to the public interest because this is in the CR zone, and so it is very appropriate to have units available for commercial purposes. So it's in keeping with the neighborhood. And there isn't any health, safety, or welfare concerns that were brought up during the discussion of this conversion of a house into an extra unit. Criteria number 2 is met because criteria number 1 is met. Substantial justice is done. The benefit to the community is providing commercial real estate for people to buy into Laconia, a condominium, bring taxpayer money to this town, I guess, is substantial justice. The value of the surrounding properties are not diminished. There isn't any evidence either way. I would suspect it would be beneficial, but I don't know that it would be. And again, it is reasonable use for this property to be subdivided into 2 condominiums. The building is large enough to accommodate the increase in size, and there's plenty of parking, and it's a very nice use. So I make a motion, we grant.
Thank you, Marcia. We have a motion?
Second.
Thank you, Eric. Any further discussion? I'm all for it. All in favor?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for staying all night,
Thank
Aaron.
you.
Good presentation.
Very good. Any other business?
Want to adjourn?
So I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I second.
Very good. I thank you all. Thank you for your
Thank you.
reading, Tyler. You do excellent
Anytime.
public speaking. Let me tell you, that's your niche.
Right.
You know?
Well, if I ever go into voice acting, I'll give my
Marcia, thank
credits
for
to
your
you.
homework on all that. Gerard.
Doing it in a timely manner.